Hi everyone. I hope you're doing well. I'm just getting everything set up on my end. I swear by God, Taquidia shampoo will make you grow new. Great. How's everybody's week going? All right. Today's been super busy. I plan on working on my Cotton Cuts Clue 7. It just released on Friday, but I'm trying to keep up because like what I showed on my last live, the new box shipped and the next Puzzle Mysteries quilt starts Friday. So I'm trying to make sure I'm caught up with my Under the Sea. Hey Arnetta! Hi Charlene! How are you ladies? Arnetta, is everything starting to melt? We've had it almost feels like summer in New York City. It's been above freezing, so our snow piles are a little slushy. Parking has still been a nightmare though. Alright. Yeah, same here. People, we've been watching across from our house. There's this one spot that's not really dug out, and then we've seen so many cars get stuck in it. I finally moved my car yesterday after a week of not moving it, and I was able to get parking. Um, so we'll see about tomorrow when I have to move it again. So I sewed up the clue already for like my film tutorial that I did. I think I had a couple extra pieces in this pack. So I plan on sewing up the rest tonight. There's 4 large blocks. So I have 3 of them for tonight and then just 4 flying geese pieces. So we'll see. I hope I didn't count. Cotton Cuts always tells you like the different pieces that are in the pack and how many, but I never bother counting. I just always start sewing. That's not necessarily a recommended tip, but I don't know, I find it so tedious to go through and count everything. I've never had a missing piece. I know sometimes it does happen, and Cotton Cut support, you can like reach out to them and they'll mail them to you. So I'm hoping I have all my pieces here tonight. Oh my gosh, Charlene, I want to come visit. 82. I'm so jealous. All right. So after, I think it was during the live last week when I tried winding a bobbin and it didn't work. I took apart the top of my sewing machine, and this machine's from the early 80s. I think it's like 81 or 82. And the bobbin winder has this little wheel on it that's like rubber, and it's not catching the grip properly. So I'm gonna order a piece. They had it on, I think it's like sewing machine parts or sewing parts online or something, but it's back ordered. So I bought a little like electric bobbin winder. So if I run out of bobbin, I'm either gonna have to test that out, or I'll just grab a random color. A lot of time when I am quilting, I'll just use whatever to piece it because I don't really see it. But with the book the other week, I really wanted to be meticulous about it. Charlene, do you want it warmer or do you want it cooler? Because 82 right now sounds nice, because we're supposed to go back into the freezing temperatures, and I hadn't visited my parents since Christmas, and I feel like every weekend it's supposed to snow or something. So hopefully this weekend I get to go and it's not a problem. All right, I just realized I don't have my color card in front of me. I'm gonna grab that off to the side. I always keep this just to reference the fabric. Although this one I haven't really mixed up as much as I've done the previous one, so should be okay. Oh, you want it cooler? Yeah. Well, when I lived in Florida for college, I was in St. Pete, which is right below Tampa, so about halfway down on um, the West Coast. And so it was really nice, during winter to call home and be like, haha, like, you guys have snow, like, it's still nice here. But it did get to a point sometimes where I would miss the different seasons, especially growing up in New England, where I feel like the seasons are very pronounced. I think part of it is also that we've had some really, really mild winters the last few winters in New York City. So that I think that's part of it. Is like the snowstorm is like, oh whoa, we haven't had snow like this in a long time. But I know down south they really got hit this past week. My cousin in North Carolina lives near the coast, and she said she got like a crazy amount. So I really feel people bad for the people down south who don't have like the equipment or the systems or whatever to keep up with it. Yeah, Florida. It was funny. Sunday night, Jason and I were watching the hockey game, and they played an outdoor hockey game at the arena where the Tampa Bay Buccaneers play, and it was so funny seeing everybody. It was like in the high 30s, low 40s, and it's like it was really funny. Like they actually had to. They were saying they had to actually warm the ice because it was so cold that the ice wasn't freezing properly. I'm just pressing all these open. I like when there's multiple blocks and I can sew all the steps at once and I don't have to cut them apart. So if you are tuning in, are you working on any projects this week? I've been really trying to keep up with the quilting. Um, we just ordered on Sunday a whole bunch of new zipper tape. So we'll have 11 different colors. Some of them that we've carried before, like our Over the Rainbow coming back in stock, and then a whole bunch of new ones, which I'm really excited about. We picked some colors that are like spring type colors. So I'm super excited to see them when they get here. I still haven't done any bags recently. I did buy, Kathy from K-Dill Handmade released a new wallet pattern. I think it was on Friday, which I really like because it's it's like super tiny where it would hold like a couple cards, and it has a little zip pocket and an ID pocket, and I think it's perfect for like a wristlet, or I'm thinking when I go to like the concerts, I have this small bag and I have card slots in it, but I don't always like to use like built-in card slots. So I'm super excited to make it. I haven't cut it out yet or made it yet, but it's on my to-do list. I'm just double checking that I'm lining up the correct side because I haven't really been clipping. Sometimes when I'm sewing like squares and stuff, I'll accidentally like turn it the wrong way. So I'm just being mindful that I have it facing the correct direction. I really appreciate all of you joining me on Tuesday nights. You are keeping me accountable, and keeping me up to date on everything that I'm working on. So it's been good managing my sewing projects. So what I'm working on, if you're just joining now, I also have some people watching on TikTok too. It's like a block of the month from the company called Cotton Cuts. So everything is pre-cut and you choose your fabric. They call it a colorway. And then they'll mail you the instructions each month. And at the 10th month, you put everything together. So this is month 7. So this quilt is going to finish up at the end of April. So I'm so excited to see it all come together. Hey, Cynthia. Yeah, Charlene, Lynn's released this weekend as well, right? I haven't purchased it yet, but I definitely want to, and I want to make it. It just seems like a very it is a large, not seems, it is a large bag, and I just don't have that in my time right yet. But I love the look of the bag. My niece, my oldest niece, plays soccer, so I thought it would be really cool as a soccer bag for her. But her soccer season doesn't start until spring, so I have a little bit of time to work on it. I'm just laying out the next section. I always lay them out so that way, like, I never really realized how much of a visual learner I was until I started sewing. So laying them out like this really helps me make sure that I'm keeping everything in order and the correct side and whatnot. For the hard copy, is it gonna be in one of the boxes, did she say? Or does or are you talking about how she's now gonna print the A0 or A0 big print file sheets? Yeah, because I have been following on social media and saw that she is gonna offer that service now, which is so awesome. Ray is great. I've got to meet Ray a few times in person, and I really like her. Hey Beth, how are you? It's good to see you. Oh, that's great. Yeah, I've never actually had a pattern printed on like the A0 file. I know people do it a lot for clothes. I have an HP printer, and just being a teacher, I bought the subscription to HP Instant Ink. So I was one of those people that just like printed out all the pages and would sit on the floor and tape them together. But now I have a projector, so that saves that. I'm doing well, thank you. So, do you all have like a method that you store your patterns? I have I'll grab one to show you if I can find it. I have some that are just like in folders, like I tried to fold them on the creases if I can, and then I'll show you, let's see. The irony is that I cleaned my craft room, and now I don't know what I did with them in the cleaning. But basically I bought these folders from the Dollar Tree that had like a zipper closure, and so I have been putting the folded pattern in them. And when I cut out my pieces for the bag or whatever I'm making, I also put it into the folder and zip up the top. It works really well as long as the pattern is not a huge pattern. If it's like a big bag, then it doesn't fit. Hey Janet, how are you? It's so good to see everybody hopping on. Thanks for joining me. Another, what I did grab is when I was in Las Vegas last year, the Sack Bag and Sewing Expo, she had put together kits in these plastic bags, and I had bought this one. It came with the roadie from K-Dill Handmade, and it has all the fabric in it. It was like a pre-put together kit. As you can see, I have not cut it out yet. It is on my to-do list. But it's kind of like this idea of it being in a zipper, just it was a folder instead of that bag. But that has been very helpful too, just to keep track of things, especially if you cut multiple projects. I do not enjoy cutting out stuff at all. So when I do actually cut stuff, I tend to cut out like multiple products at once. Oh, clear pocket envelopes is stored in a binder. Yeah, that is a great idea on the computer. Like a plastic file folder thing. Yeah, I had like a plastic drawer cart that has like the hanging files that I used for a while. But I found that I didn't really like go back to them that often. So these other folders seem to be working for me right now. This pattern piece here is a little big, so I'm gonna just iron it first before I sew it onto this piece. You have 2 filing cabinets. So that's good if it works for you. See, I have the plastic like filing cabinet. I'm looking off to the left because they're underneath. I have like IKEA tables in this room. But what happens is I feel like I end up blocking them in with other stuff, and then I never go into them. So I really organized over my winter break, went through a lot of stuff, but I still have quite a few things like underneath the tables to go through. The big metal 4 drawers. That's awesome. You know what though, Janet? I'm sure all the pattern designers love and appreciate that. I always find it funny, like, you know, when people have more patterns than they've sewn. And I think we're all like that. I have so many patterns that I've bought, but just have not had the opportunity or the time to make them yet. If you weren't on last week, I briefly mentioned it. I applied to vend in April in Hartford. AQS is doing a quilt show in Hartford for the first time. They're the ones that put on the big show in Paducah, Kentucky. And I'm doing a presentation about using zipper tape in bags or how to use it, because since it's geared towards quilters, I know in the quilting groups not a lot of people are familiar with the zipper tape. And I applied to do that at the same time that I applied to vend. So I'm 99% sure that we are also vending at it. Which I'm really excited about because Hartford is about an hour from where I grew up in Connecticut, and it's not too far from here in New York City. So I'm excited to have something close to home and like a bigger show coming to the New England area. So I'm sure as it gets closer, one of my plans is that I want to sell just have some bag kits like already made and ready to go. So I'm sure some of my Tuesday night lives as it gets closer, I'll be working on that. Janet, you shouldn't be. It's so funny. It's such a common theme. You definitely shouldn't be embarrassed because if you saw my craft room right now and just the massive amount of like stuff that I have hoarded that I don't even know if I'll ever sew through it. I have so much um cotton lycra in the closet behind me that I keep telling myself like I need to take a day and just cut out a whole bunch of patterns and sew clothes for my nieces and just try to clear off the shelves. Yeah, same Marnetta. Exactly. I appreciate that. Yeah, yeah, exactly, Cynthia. I mean, there's so many, and there's more and more designers, which is so awesome because it adds so much variety. Yeah, these pieces are so large that I actually did clip them together, just so they didn't move. Yeah, that's great, Janet. Make it like one of your goals, right? Like sew through your patterns. That was not patterns but fabric and materials. I did not buy a lot of new fabrics, vinyls, anything, even hardware, because I have so much that was one of my goals last year and continuing into this year to sew through it. One of the other things I did is I sorted all my scraps. I keep my scraps of all different fabrics. I sorted them all out for like quilt cotton, vinyl, water resistant canvas, and I always try to use up any scraps that I can. One of the things that I want to do is more quilting in bags. I do a lot of it, or a lot of the bags I make for myself are that way. So I want to use up the cotton pieces by including that more. Yeah, same Cynthia. I have not bought as many patterns this last year either. All right. So now I just need to put these two pieces together, and I'm probably not going to clip them because though this one has a seam, the bottom one doesn't. So I'm just going to line up the edges. Yeah, we have two big orders coming in. We have the zipper tape order, and we have a fabric order of what is it? Water resistant canvas and the Majestic nylon that we carry it in the shop. And we have some stuff in retail still. I just we hadn't ordered because you know, there's still a lot, but with the if we're gonna vend, I needed to make sure that we had stuff coming in. So I'm excited because we included a lot of like spring type prints with like florals and some summer ones as well. Some prints that we haven't had before. And they're supposed to ship before Lunar New Year, so hopefully that's the case. So I'm curious too if you work with zippers. I've gotten to the point that I just put my zipper pull on by hand. When I first started sewing them, it took a long time, but now it's just quick for me. Do any of you use like the zipper jigs you can buy or a fork? Thinking about the presentation that I'm going to do in April, I want to show some different methods of how you can put the zipper pull on. So if you have a favorite tool that you use or recommend, definitely let me know. Because I want to give everybody as many opportunities to try different things to make it successful, because I know that can be so tricky. It was really funny. We had I had bought 2 different styles of zipper jigs the other night, and Jason was trying to put them on to see if he, as like a non-sewist, never put a zipper pull on before, could do it. And one of them was really difficult. Like the first part of it was like kind of too vertical. It was really hard to get your hands on, but the second one worked really well. Okay, do it by hand. Yeah, once it gets here, Charlene, I'll put an announcement and I will have everything posted as well. We didn't buy a ton of extras, but we do have some. And I bought, we used to carry like the lace vinyl and some other embossed vinyls that we've kind of sold out of and haven't really had for a long time. So I've bought some of them, and I made sure they're a little bit different, like more springtime colors than the colors that we've had previously too. Yeah, same, Janet. I had never used a zipper jig. Like I didn't have one, and I just kept learning until I could finally do it myself. I also made one before. Charlene, the zipper jig that you used, was it there's one that I keep seeing popping up on like quilting sites. It's like the purple one that has like tongs basically that come up out of it. Okay, Arnetta, you've never had success with one either. Okay. All right. So that makes me feel better knowing that other people like just use their hands too. Because my thought was, I have extra zippers that during the presentation I was going to let people try to put the zipper tapes on themselves. I am so angry. When we ordered our pink flamingo zipper pulls, almost all of them were defective in the color. Like it was missing color on the underbody, on the legs. So we pulled out all the ones that were like good. So I literally have hundreds of half painted pink flamingos. So I figured that I could use them as like just examples that people could try. Yeah, so Cynthia, I actually think like we don't like, we're not a huge shop where like we sell out a lot on our website. So when they get here, I'm probably going to list the vinyls and the fabrics that we have and the zipper tape. And then just bring, when we do vend, just put the password, like a password protected on our website. And that way our stock counts or whatever. But yeah, I definitely plan on everything that we ordered will also be up on the website. Charlene, you should have told me. I didn't realize. Oh my gosh, Charlene, I'm going to send you proper ones then. If you ever have something, please do not feel bad telling me. I've never had a problem with the coloring from this company. And the first few flamingos, they looked fine, or they would look fine from the top, but it wasn't until you turned it that you saw it. And so thankfully someone messaged me on Etsy, and I started like opening, like pulling them out of the bags, and I was like, oh my gosh, you have to be kidding me. Yeah, Arnett, so that's what I was thinking. The purple one, and it was kind of pricey. So I was like, I'm not sure how useful or whatnot. Cause I've seen where people use metal ones, or they'll use the bag holders from Dollar Tree and stuff. So when you order them, I probably could have disputed it with the company, but sending them back with shipping is such a pain in the butt that with the flamingos, we just ate the cost, and like like on our inventory, you can like trash stuff, and then it doesn't count. There's all this stuff behind the scenes with like business taxes and stuff, but the short of it is that basically if you pull it out of your inventory and trash them, then you can write it off. So I'm just gonna do that, because the amount that it would have taken me to try to redo them, um, but I was so upset with them that I'm actually considering looking for another supplier that can give me. But that's not going to happen, basically, because even when I message them, they're like, oh, we like this can happen and blah blah blah, and I'm like, it was annoying to deal with. Um, we use a different supplier for our heart, our pink heart and red, yeah, our pink and red heart zipper pulls, and I've, knock on wood, never had a problem with their color. So it would cost me another mold fee, but I am going to ask them if they are able to make molds for the flamingos. All right, I have basically 6 flying geese to make, so I'm going to lay out 3 at a time, but then sew them all together. I love the look of flying geese. It's just so tedious to have to do like the one side at a time. But I love the way they turn out, especially if there's like these have the 2 smaller pieces, the same fabric, but the next one has them different. This one will have the B fabric on one side and the C fabric on the other. Perfect. So far I have all the pieces. I think they actually gave me extras, so we'll see, but I'm pretty close to the end of the first block, so yeah, the problem is with like the zipper pulls and stuff. They just produce them in so mass quantity, um, that some companies care more than others. Which fabric is which one, Charlene? The ones that I'm working on now. Um, this fabric line is Ghostly and Haunted. It's by Art Gallery Fabrics, and I don't think it's a specific designer because it says Art Gallery Fabrics Studio. It's all Halloween themed, And so this fabric here has like ravens on it. And then this one I love so much. It's like such a pretty fall, like floral. And on some pieces you can see it has like little pumpkins and candy corn. Doing diamond art, that's awesome. I've actually never tried diamond art. My sister loves diamond art, and so do my nieces. My niece's school offers clubs, and actually one of them signed up for diamond art. Thanks, Charlene. I can't wait either. One thing I like about Cotton Cuts is they offer different colorways that each one is like a different fabric line. And I was obsessed when I saw this fabric. I was like praying that I was going to be picked for the ambassador for this colorway. And I had already decided that if I wasn't, then I was going to purchase some of this fabric because it's so pretty. Like I don't know how well it shows up on camera. I'll show up in a second, but even though it's like spooky and Halloween, it's just so pretty. Like it's very I don't know, it has all the pinks through it. It's not like gory. And then it's cute vampire kitties, ravens. The orange has ghosts. I love the like, to me this is like the prettiest haunted house ever. It reminds me of just like a house that someone would decorate in, the suburbs. And then the floral. And then this one is probably the most like Halloween. It does have the cauldron and the the hens and the fortune teller witch hat. But out of all of them, that's the one that's probably the most Halloween. Yeah, I imagine that it is relaxing. I do a ton of crafts, but that's not one that I have tried. It's funny, I do things in like waves. I had been cross stitching for a while, and that project is like a quarter finished. And recently I've been doing crochet. I just finished like a bumblebee for my niece. One of my older nieces had bought a chicken crochet kit, made a little chicken. And so the other two, one requested a cow. So I made a cow, and then I had a bumblebee kit for my other niece. And I've made a couple hats, and right now I'm working on a blanket in like just using variegated yarn in like a granny square, but in a rectangle shape. So that's what I've been working on. That I leave out. I bought this basket that I can put underneath our coffee table that holds all that stuff. So for this colorway, Charlene, this one is the fall one. So this one is going to be finished. It's closed right now, but there is another puzzle mystery quilt open. Its theme is Field of Dreamers, and signups are open for that one. Some colorways are sold out, but some still have. I'll show you my colorway. And there's small sizes and large. I'm sewing up a large, and it's going to be Awakening. And on the website, it reminded me like very 60s theme, the colors. But I was very surprised. They seem like more vibrant in person. So I'm not really sure how they're showing up on video. But when I saw the fabrics in person, I really was like pleasantly surprised. Because normally I go for bright colors. But I told Cotton Cuts to surprise me. So this is the spring 2026 one. And the first clue is actually shipping this Friday. I need to show you the crochet animals. I can go grab them. Don't judge though, because they're the first animals I've ever made. Nope, I I just like totally knocked the table. I'll let me just finish pressing this. I'll go grab them. They're right in the other room. I put them in a bag with the hat for my sister because if I didn't put them all together, then I will forget to bring them home when I go visit. The emotional support chicken? No, I have not heard of that. Is it an actual animal or is it like crocheted or sewed? Now I'm gonna look it up, Arnetta, when we get off here. Hey Nicole, how are you? Yeah, I give anybody credit who does the animals. I mean, I have not been. I've learned to crochet when I was really little, but I never learned to read a pattern or anything like that. So I've been reteaching myself like the names of stitches and how to read a pattern. So the chicken and the bumblebee were a kit, and I did okay. The cow, I bought the pattern, and the pattern was very well written, but you have to like sew pieces on together, and I was struggling a lot with that. You think with sewing I would have been okay, but it was very different sewing yarn than it was like sewing fabric. Oh, I'm gonna look it up, Arnetta. I'll be right back. I'm gonna grab what I showed you. Or it's funny. I'm storing them in this bag. I actually have a YouTube video for this. It's just a box bottom drawstring bag, and I was like, all right, this is gonna be perfect to bring home. So this is the hat that I made for my sister. Just double crochet in I think it was the back loop only. And this is the cow. So I'm pretty happy with it. I think the pattern's super cute. The ears, the horn, and the nose you had to sew on, which I don't think they're horrible for especially my first time ever making one. The arms weren't so bad because those get crocheted in as you were going. I just told my nieces are older. They're 9, so I just told her don't yank on these too hard. Thanks. And this is the bumblebee. It doesn't have a stinger though. It was a kit and it didn't tell you how to make a stinger, and I'm totally not adept enough to try to figure it out myself. This yarn was the chenille, which was fluffy, and it was really hard to see the stitches, especially in the black. This yarn is not fluffy, and it was so much easier. And the chicken I made while I was in Connecticut, so my older niece already has it. These are for my younger 2 nieces. I'm definitely one of those people that I have to constantly change things up. Like I can't make the same thing over and over again. I also realized through making the animals that I tend to, if you crochet, you might be familiar with the terms. I yarn under rather than yarn over my crochet hook. I didn't realize that was like wrong. It just felt like so normal to me. And then I learned that it made your stitches smaller. So they said it works great for the animals, but what's happening is with the blanket, it's making it, I'm having to do so many more stitches with the blanket. So when I start another project, I'm going to be very mindful of yarning over. awesome, Janet. Yeah, one of my cousins crochets and knits, and she actually has sheep, and she even like shears the sheep, gets the wool, sends it off, has it turned into yarn, and dyes it herself, and she makes all sorts of animals and creations, and she's really amazing with it. Yeah, and I think I'm like inspired to do more animals. Um, but I think the kits are what I want to do instead of buying the patterns. I need to become better at learning to read the patterns. There's also this really popular sweater going around on in like the crochet groups that uses granny hexagons, like two big hexagons that you then sew together. Um, and I absolutely love the way it looks. So I put that on my to-do list. Yeah, they're popular sellers. Um, my nieces have a couple of crocheted animals like from when they were younger that I don't know if my sister said she bought them or I think she said that they were gifted to her. But yeah, and I know my cousin does pretty well at the markets. All right, now just making sure I don't mix these up. I have some that have um, the floral fabric on both sides, which is this one here, and then these have a different fabric on the left hand side. I had thought I run out of bobbin, but it just on that piece there pulled further than I expected, so I'm assuming I might be getting low on the thread. Charlene, I think you could do it though. You like sew and make all these beautiful things. Like I definitely think that you could crochet or knit. I still struggle with like starting it. Like it recommends using this magic circle, and I have to watch a video every single time I do it. I think that was the hardest part about starting with the animals is that they wanted you to do that, and then keeping track. Like I really spent a lot of time learning how to count my stitches, and with the cow at one point, like I couldn't see the stitches, so I had bought these little stitch markers that look like plastic safety pins, and I had put a stitch marker in literally every single stitch, so I could keep track of it. It was so tedious, but it's like what I had to do to be able to keep track of it. Oh, nice, Cynthia. What did you get any particular like specific like a style of hardware or just like the snap hooks and D-rings? I keep a supply of 1-inch hardware. um I like started my stash of keeping D-rings, snap hooks, and sliders in the 6 different finishes that I prefer, like light gold, silver, rainbow, antique bronze, gunmetal, and rose gold. And even if bags call for like a 1/2 inch or 3/4 inch, I almost always switch my straps to a 1-inch. I've never tried knitting, so I don't really know how it would be switching. But I have seen I'm in quite a few groups that have crocheting and knitting, and people have said that going from one to the other is kind of difficult. So I definitely believe that. All right, so now I need to attach my flying geese with this rectangle in the middle, and I just need to make sure I have the correct one on top versus the bottom. Oh, that sounds nice, Nicole. That probably takes forever. My meme, um, she lived till almost 100. She passed away in like the early 2000s. My mom and aunts have these gorgeous lace tablecloths, doilies. She used to make that stuff, and it's so intricate. Um, and she was so good at it. She made so much stuff that as a kid I didn't have the appreciation for the time and the skill that it took. Um, but it's really cool because a lot of my family members still have everything that she's made and use it, which is, you know, nice to honor her memory, her little legacy like that. Oh, that's not good. Yeah. Or I feel like crocheting, like if you or at least for me, when I accidentally missed a stitch or something, it's not quite as noticeable. Or I'm sure, you know, just like with quilters or sewists who are proficient, they're gonna notice little imperfections. But for most people, I feel like anybody who does a craft, whatever it is, like sewing, crochet, anything artistic, we're our own worst critics. Like we always see our own mistakes. But then you'll go to a store and all you need to do is just look at something that's mass produced and you can feel better about yourself. That's what I do. Oh, nice, Arnetta. Arnetta, do you find knitting to be faster? Because from what I was reading, that knitting is slower. But I'm curious if because you're so proficient at it that it works out for you. Oh man. Alright, I gotta grab a different bobbin. When did I run out? Oh, on this one, of course. Alright, I'm gonna have to re-sew this one. I love the look of knitting, especially like clothing, like the socks. Like I almost want to learn knitting just because I'm so inspired by how cool the socks look, the designs that you can do. But I just know that I probably would not finish them. So okay, I'm gonna grab a bobbin off camera. I just grabbed a random blue-gray one that I have filled. I think it's Lauren Mormuno that she calls them like bobbin dumps, and she'll just use random bobbins in parts of the bag that you're not gonna see. And that's like basically what I do with piecing, especially for these colors. There is that cream color, but you don't really see the thread through it, so I'm not really worried. Oh wow, Barbie dresses, that's cool. Oh, crochet uses more yarn. That's interesting. I didn't realize that, but I guess with how complex some of the stitches can be. I know my grandma used to knit some scarves, and she taught my mom to do it. They haven't made them in a while. When I was growing up, it was really popular at one time to make almost like dressier scarves. You wouldn't wear them for warmth, and the yarn had little, I don't know, like little danglies off of it, so it turned out to look like a fancy scarf. And And they made them for a while. But my mom hasn't done that in a long time. And now my grandma, she does a lot of crocheting. She's the one that makes the baby blankets that when um, our friends or relatives have a baby shower, she gives them to us for a gift. Alright, I'm just making sure that I am pressing these to the correct direction. Oh no, Nicole. Yeah. It's stuff like that can really ruin it for you. I really enjoyed seeing a lot of the crafts and fiber arts making a comeback. Like when I went to high school, there was like home ec, but there wasn't. It was more of like cooking. It wasn't like where you learned cooking and then sewing and all this other stuff. The only class that I took that was kind of similar is she did teach us to um like read a sewing pattern and like hand sew, but then like the next project was we did like an interior design type thing. Oh man, did I dub sew? Oh, this one I gotta pull apart. I put the arrow the wrong way. I guess I wasn't paying attention when I just sewed it. But it's cool because I see a lot more schools offering those things. I even see it now in like New York City. In the course of my teaching, there was a really big push away from trades and that type of stuff. But now there is a lot, it's swinging back towards learning skills like that in the classroom and different trades and stuff, which is really cool because I'm a big proponent of that. That's one thing my high school did have. Like I took robotics, architectural drafting, they had carpentry, like metal, wasn't automotive, but it was like metalworking. And I love those classes. It's funny because when I design bag patterns, I use Adobe Illustrator. They had graphic design in my high school, but I don't know why in my head I thought you had to be like artistic in the sense like you could draw and paint, and I can't do that. So I never took it, but I actually use the skills that I learned in computer assisted drafting and architectural drafting when I write my bag patterns. All right, perfect. At least that didn't take a long time to pick that one apart. Oh, that's awesome, Nicole. Yeah, we had music and art. Did music when I was in like middle school, but not high school. Oh, that's really neat, Cynthia. Yeah, so where I grew up is northeastern Connecticut. It's like really rural. A lot of the farms have closed now, but I used to joke that there was like more cows than people in my hometown. And farming or agriculture it's still there, just not as big as it used to be. And so in my town, there's one public high school, but if you wanted to do vocational for VOAG, they call it, for agriculture, and now they added like plant sciences, like botany and stuff. There is a high school in a neighboring town that you can go to, and there's also a a tech school where you could go and learn trades like automotive, carpentry, um, hair, cosmetology, any of the drafting, and then come out as like an apprentice when you're done. And that school, they even added like post grad, like aircraft maintenance and stuff. So it's really cool back in my hometown that those options exist. And I'm really happy to see, like living in New York City now, that those are coming back into the school as well. In the classroom, I try to do as like much hands-on stuff with my students. Like I did a lot of robotics with them and taught them like Adobe Illustrator and stuff was a little bit too advanced because they were upper elementary and middle school. But I did do Adobe Express with them and they loved it. It's really cool to see like their imaginations and what they can make with it. Oh, that's awesome, Cynthia. My meme um, used to she could make any outfit. She was trained, I don't know, she was born, I think it was like 1907. So when she was young, she was trained by a tailor, and anything that we need fixed on our clothing growing up, she could do it. And my grandma's really funny. She tells a story that one day, after school, she's like, I'm gonna come home and make a shirt. And she said, one arm fit perfectly, and then the other was just so messed up. She's like, I crumpled it up and I never sewed again. And even my aunt, who gave me this sewing machine, that my meme would have been her mother-in-law, and she'll tell stories. She's like, I used to make my clothes, but I would never want meme to look too close at them. Yeah, see, what was nice, Cynthia, is that in my high school at the time, um, you weren't required to actually take any of them. They were all optional. Um, and because my town was more rural and has a lot of like hands-on blue collar jobs, even though it wasn't a designated tech school with the trades, they did offer a lot of those shop classes too, and I'll be like forever grateful for that, because like um I was in like AP and honors classes, but I love hands-on stuff, and I'm so happy that I was able to take classes like that too. All right. What I'm doing now, I don't know if it's all on camera or not, is these two pieces have to get sewn together. It's one big block, um, and it is there's only one seam that matches up, so I'm matching that seam first and then clipping down the rest. Because Nicole, you're in Canada too, right? I also think it's so fascinating learning about different countries in schooling. Like as a teacher myself, like going for my master's in teaching, um, they always talk about Finland and Finland's style of school, and it's so cool. It's so hands on and practical. I'm like, I wish I went to school in Finland. I would love as a teacher to do like an international field trip and go visit a Finnish school. I'm just making sure that my seams, sometimes they want, like when they get bigger, I have a problem where they want to like fold back on themselves. Um, I guess like the clapper would really help to put that to keep the seams flat. So I'm just making sure that the seams are actually, see like right here where it wants to fold down, are going the way that they're supposed to. It's going to end up being really long, but I am going to sew them all at once. Right, last one. Alright, one big piece I'm cutting apart now. And these seams are going to get pressed towards the left. It's so funny because this month there's two different blocks. You can see here. See, this seam flipped back on itself, but honestly, I'm not picking it apart. I'm just going to try to flatten it as best I can. But yeah, so this month there's two different blocks, and it's so funny because this block is kind of big and used a bunch of different fabrics. And then the B block is, you'll see, it's just one flying geese. It's so funny, Cynthia. My mom says the same thing. She did typing, she did like business, and still to this day, she can tell you like, she'll be like ASDF and then can go across the keyboard. When I was growing up, there wasn't like a huge emphasis. There was like, it was like early 2000s when I went to high school. So, in middle school, I went to Catholic school where there was like a computer lab, but not everybody had computers. I didn't have a computer till high school. But seeing my mom be able to type so fast was such a huge influence on me that I made myself learn how to type properly, and I'm forever grateful for that because now I use computers like all day long. So oh, court reporting is so cool. It's like a different language seeing the shorthand that they use. Yeah, it's funny, Nicole, because I talk about how like I've fallen to like the older millennial, and it's like I can remember using a typewriter, then using a word processor, then using the computer. It's like it transcended so many different pieces of technology, I guess. All right, so this is the the 7A block. So it's month 7. I love how this one looks because it used all the different fabrics. There's 6 different fabrics in every colorway, so I love when they're all used. And then the last step is, you'll see I have flying geese, and I already made one, so I just need to make 3. So I think that is actually extra pieces that were in my thing. I hope they're extra, not missing from somebody else's. Yeah, well, it's interesting, Nicole, because like my generation and older did, but now with the younger kids, what I notice is that like how I grew up, we had to kind of like teach ourselves a computer and like fix them, not fix them in the sense of like take out the hard drive and like physically, but if something messed up on the screen, like how to go into the settings. And this generation, because they are growing up with computers already and they're so common and more accessible, a lot of students like don't really know how to go in and change settings like that, or even like Microsoft Word. Like it takes so much time teaching them how to format papers and change fonts and just things that I guess I really took for granted that I remember just trying to figure out on my own. Yeah, I can text. A lot of people that I work with are very comfortable like using their phone to take notes and doing things. If I'm taking notes, I still prefer to like hand write them because my brain retains it better. Um, Same thing with reading. I still prefer like physical books to digital. I will read digital because I got a library card and I've just been saving a lot of money by reading them instead of buying. But my preference, especially if I am taking like classes that like I just did for my certification, is to have like a physical book because I learn just so much better that way. Oh my gosh, that's funny, Nicole. It's true. My one of my nieces was asking me how to do something on the phone the other day, and I was like, she's like, look, my friend showed me this. Do you know how to do this? And I was like, I had no idea. I was like, I didn't even know that was possible. Um, like I just use like I'm using an iPhone 14 Pro Max. Like I'm not one of those people that upgrade each time. And it was funny because I went from an iPhone 7 to an iPhone 14. Like that's how big of a jump it was. And it was like I had no clue how to use half the stuff. Yeah, it's funny and um yeah, it's like there's a couple like I feel like Generation X millennials are in that weird like pre-technology, post-technology gap. And yeah, always the best thing that um well, iPhone with FaceTime or like Android, I'll use Google Meets and stuff, is being able to share a screen. I am able to help my parents so much better when I am not there to now be able to actually be able to see their phone screen. Yeah, see Nicole, the writing it out. I think there's been scientific studies done as well that if you like you remember so much by reading it and then you remember so much more by writing it and then if you speak it there's all these different percentages and then how much versus hearing versus seeing and then of course everybody's different so it varies by every person. Yeah, FaceTime or any type of um like Google Meet, Zoom has been such a blessing in disguise. I guess before that it was oh my Skype and stuff. Um it's been so nice just to be able to connect and see people that you may not live close to. Okay, see, this section went so much faster. I'm already done it. I just gotta press it open. Yeah, I FaceTime my family all the time. The big joke, like when I went to school in Florida, uh, there wasn't FaceTime yet or anything like that. The phones weren't, there was no iPhone, I don't think, at that time yet. And so the big joke is I'd call and be like, do you miss me? So now it's so cool to just be able to call and like see the person. When my nieces came out, I always call them from the couch, and I have all these colorful pillows behind me, the puff quilt and the puff quilt pillowcases. And so it was funny. My nieces, the first thing one of them did is she laid on the couch, pretended she had a phone, and she was like, do you miss me? It was super cute. All right, so now I have one more over here. So I have 4 of these flying geese. So this is the 7B block. And what I mean by that is whenever Cotton Cuts gives you the clues, they'll put 7, whatever month it is, so is the number, so 7 months, so it's 7, and then this is A, and this is B. If there's only one style of block, they'll just call it like month 8 or whatever. But this is what I keep referencing. And so they give you, all your clues come in these little labeled bags. And so you don't know how the quilt will come together. So in month 10, they'll say like, sew section 7A to 3B. And so I keep all my sections labeled in the bag that they come in. So when I go to build my quilt, I can find the sections easy. And so since this is such a large piece, I have my other ones here because I always sew up an example of each of the blocks each month and do a full length tutorial for those who are sewing along doing the puzzle mystery quilt, so they can sew along if they want. And so I already had 2 made. So with these big ones, in order to fit, I'll just fold them in half and then put the small ones. And then earlier I showed the box. Like you can get these monthly where they'll mail them to you monthly, or if you prepay, you can get all the clues up front and they come in a box. So that's what I do. So I have all the clues ahead of time. And so now that this is all together, I just put this back in the box so I don't lose it and keep everything organized. And this I keep out because you get one of these and I use it for every month to reference the fabrics. So, all right, well, I'm gonna hop off there. Thank you so much for joining me. I really love looking forward to Tuesdays and interacting with everyone, and you also keep me accountable and on top of all the projects I need to do. So I really appreciate that as well. I hope that if you're in a cold area that you're staying warm. Charlene, I hope you get a little bit of coolness. Maybe we can send you some of the cold weather, your way in Arizona. But I'm going to hop off here for the night. I'll be back on next Tuesday. So, thanks. All right. Have a great night, everyone. I'll see you later. Bye.